everybody. My name is Dr. Felice Cellini, and I'm blessed and grateful to be in recovery. And this is our Thursday evening Why Wait for Recovery community meeting.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Haiti, and not only am I blessed to be in recovery, I'm the food addict, I'm a binger, I'm a purger, I'm an emotional overeater, I'm a drug addict in recovery, but I'm also back, and it feels so good to be back.
And we're glad you're back.
Me too.
And I'm a drug addict, alcoholic, anorexic in recovery. Welcome, everybody. So you want to?
I would love to just do a little quick check-in for myself. So the last
she's going to talk about herself.
I'm going to talk about me. Okay.
Okay.
So firstly, I just wanted to say thank you to everybody who reached out and sent me so many great well wishes and so much love. I just really appreciate all of you. So I actually had surgery last week, and the reason I'm bringing this up is because it is on a topic. You know, we all think we have Monday to start that diet and that food addiction is a really cute addiction and we can always start again. But sometimes we really do real harm to ourselves, and my binging and purging put me in a state where I needed to go have surgery because previously I had perforated my colon. And nothing like walking around with a colostomy bag for 3 months and developing hernias and stuff. But I must tell you, that's not what I want to focus on. I want to focus on the process. So going into hospital, I was really scared because I'm a drug addict in recovery. I'm a food addict and an emotional eater. So I had a whole lot of fear going on. So there were a couple of things that I needed to do to stay clean because my recovery really is paramount, and that's the most important thing to me because my life's very different since I stepped into recovery. Before I did, I thought it was the bariatric surgery, and I thought the diets and the clothes and the makeup and the stuff would make me happy, and it really didn't. Recovery's been the shift changer. So I really hold that very dear to me, and no matter what's going on, it becomes my primary focus. So my doctors knew that I'm a drug addict in recovery. I watched the things, which is really interesting because as you come out of surgery, they kind of give you vegetable soup, which is I had my surgery, my bariatric surgery in the same hospital. It's one of the things that you can't eat. But you know, I was always scared not only of the drugs, but also I still had to stay vigilant of the things that I put in my body because I don't want to use no matter what. Mm-hmm. You know, for me, the using part is that obsession, that compulsion, that need to get more, those crazy behaviors, those binges, those cravings. But also knowing that I had support from other people, I didn't need to do this on my own. Also going in with an attitude of gratitude made such a difference because the staff were amazing and people were amazing, and just being able to connect with people and know that there's two ways of looking at things. We can either focus on the problem and what's so wrong, or focus on what we're really grateful for. And I'm truly grateful to be sitting here today, and to be able to be sitting here after major surgery for me is like really unbelievable. I do also have a sponsor that I spoke to. Drugs, I never took drugs home with me because I knew what I'd do with them if I got them. So I think we all know what the things are that work for us as addicts when we are in recovery, and we hold our recovery really dear to ourselves. But when we're in active addiction, we hear a whole lot of nonsense and craziness that we think is true that isn't necessarily true. So I just wanted to say thank you to everyone. It's good to be back, and I am so blessed and grateful to be clean today.
Yeah, thanks so much for sharing that. So you guys, Haiti is post-bariatric surgery, right?
Yes.
And then you had a surgery post your surgery because of the consequences of what you did to your body in the past.
Actually, I'd love to just say something else on that.
Yeah, I'm going to talk next time.
Right. So actually, 4 years ago when my colon burst from a diverticulitis attack, it was my first one. I was about 120 pounds heavier than I am now. Can I tell you something? 2 of those hernias that I got when I had that bag was because I was so heavy, and it was so difficult getting out of bed to be able to move around. Having the procedure done now, not only because I'm eating clean and I'm healthier spiritually and in so many other ways, is so much easier to recover from. You know. So.
Yeah. So recovery, physical recovery is a lot easier when we have some spiritual recovery, right?
Right.
Yeah, and a lot of the things that you went through, you were able to talk about, right? And one of the things that we did that you and I talked about actually before the meeting was the actual consequences, or what they call the wreckage of your past. And that wreckage of your past was that you were sick from being so obese So you were physically sick and spiritually or emotionally sick, right?
Right.
And then you took care of some of the physical sick, then you took care of some more of the physical sick, then you lost some weight, and then you were still sick, but you looked really good sick, and then it was time to take care of what was going on with you emotionally and spiritually so that you can stay well and not have to go backward to where you were before, which if you didn't, you would have wound up in the same exact place. It would be a year from now, and you'd be 120 pounds heavier, and you'd probably be having a couple of more hernia surgeries, and you'd be sick and miserable and obese.
So there was a part that you missed out. When I became physically well, after losing all that weight, and I was spiritually sick, I pretended to everybody that everything was fine. And that was the biggest lying phase for me, where I showed up and pretended to you that everything was perfect, and I was actually dying on the inside.
Yeah, and so we see that. So we could look at some of the people in the room, especially some of you guys that we're close to, and we see the amount of weight that you've lost. There are people in the room that are post-surgery, and we see the amount of weight that you lost. And I can tell you, I'm gonna call on you, Sarah. I can tell you that physically, and I know everybody else looks at you, oh, doesn't she look great? And I don't know what you look like, but I know how you show up spiritually. And I know when I see your face, whether you're okay or not. Your body tells me nothing. The fact that you're a whole lot littler than you used to be, which I couldn't even tell you what that difference is because I don't pay attention to that. But I know spiritually when you show up here and you're okay, or spiritually when you show up here and you're wrecked, like you're inside of your head and you're. So I think that you can attest to the fact that just because you lost a whole bunch of weight, and you are recovery-wise moving forward so much, but it still doesn't mean that you're not going to have days where you still really need a lot of help, right? And being able to be in recovery.
No, definitely. I mean, there are times these days where people can't recognize me and or they compliment my weight. But weight, like I was having a conversation with my dad yesterday, losing weight doesn't equate to happiness. It doesn't equate to you're mentally okay and everything's changed. It just means you're a smaller person and maybe you gain some confidence, a little bit of confidence, but I'm still a very insecure person. And I still have my moments that I do get a little bit sad because my brain is still not wired normally. I still have those eating disorder, whatever you want to call it, tendencies in my head. I look at myself not good enough, you want more of weight, more of this, more, and it, my brain never sees itself for what it is. But it's never really about the weight or anything. It's just the way that if I feel empty, it's the way I try to fill the void.
No, absolutely. I don't even know what the
Yeah,
question was in your voice because that's 1,000% correct. When you talk about emptiness or us feeling empty, a lot of times purgers and anorexics, it's easier to actually make ourselves empty and be sick than to spiritually feel that feeling of emptiness, right? People who cut, that's an addiction, cutters, headbangers, it's easier to cut and feel that pain than it is to feel the pain that we have inside of us. With filling ourselves up, which is the overeating, the binging, to fill ourselves up when we feel so empty, or to do anything that we're doing to change the way that we're feeling, or to feel something, or to feel different, or not to feel, or to feel, or all of those things that we do because we're so nuts. That we all have that in common, you guys, and that's something that we're always going to work on. Is your addiction ever going to go away chemically? No. Chemically, your brain is the way that it is. It's wired differently than somebody else's. Do we recover? Yes, we do. Spiritually, it is so possible to recover. And that's the super important part. Because it's like saying, well, my eyes are brown. Okay, my eyes are brown. Right? Am I going to recover from the fact that my eyes are brown? Well, my eyes are always going to be brown, but it doesn't mean that I need to see the world the way that I'm seeing the world. Right? That part I can recover from.
So when you said that you still have those thoughts and your mind still takes you to that certain place, we lose the weight and the fat comes off and it disappears. but our head never really disappears. And no matter where we are, where we show up, our head always comes with us. So those thoughts are so ingrained, and we've been doing it for so long that they just pop up. So Tuesday, I come out of anesthetic. I've just been intubated. And what is the first thing that I want to do with a sore throat and everything else? I want to have a joint and a cigarette. Like, those are the first thoughts that go through my head. I'm lying on the table, and those are thoughts. But the difference between when you step into recovery is that you know that they're thoughts, they're not calls to action, and you can recognize them as a thought and say, it is a thought. I don't need to actually do something about it. Would be nice if we could just like unscrew this thing and put it and change it out and put in a new one, like a light bulb, but it always shows up with us.
Yeah, and so it's funny when you talk about that, because you know you came out of anesthesia, so you were high. So that's like the people that only smoke cigarettes when they're drunk. It's the same thing.
That's
So you
why.
duh. So you woke up out of
Ah.
anesthesia with a little bit of buzz, and you're like, "Wow, this is an awesome time to smoke a little bit of pot, have a cigarette,
the music.
kick back, relax, get some room service." You know, like that's the way that our brains are wired. Don't laugh. She's not supposed to laugh. So hold your stomach. We'll laugh for you. So yeah. So, but thanks for sharing that. But that's really why, because your brain was
That's
already
amazing.
triggered. Yeah, to get high.
So
'cause
isn't
you're
it funny
high.
how we teach ourselves? So we teach ourselves this is the perfect scenario to get high.
Exactly.
Like, what the whole picture looks
Of
like.
course it
That
is.
is so funny.
Right? For opiate addicts, it's always so exciting to think we might have a surgery. Isn't that what a normal brain thinks? Gee, maybe I'll need a surgery this year so I can eat a couple of Percocet. That's just a little friggin' scary, isn't it?
So I think also, you know, the interesting part when we talk about our brains is, you know, a normal person will sit down and they'll eat and they say, I'm full and I'm done.
Let's say a non-addict.
A non-addict. Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
instead of saying a normal person, because
I don't know what that
right.
is.
So a
never-
non-addict brain.
for me, I'll use that food as a substance to either hurt myself. So I've got to finish what's in front of me. I have to finish. That's why I've migrated to smaller plates. But also, if things are going good, I'll celebrate by eating. If things are going bad, as I perceive it to be bad, I will punish that situation by eating, even if the stuff isn't happening to me. So things could be happening to other people that I either care about, or I just put myself in that situation because I like the chaos or being needed or whatever my motivations are. But I'll put myself in there, and then I create enough chaos in my world that I have to pick up so I can self-medicate, so I can become numb, so I don't really feel something, and it becomes this whole vicious cycle.
Yeah, so ain't addiction brand. So should we go around
Yeah,
to check
please.
in? Okay, so we're gonna say hi to you, Jess. I know that you can't share with us tonight because you are in London and it's midnight and your parents are asleep in the next room. So it's good to see you. Karen, how are you?
I'm actually pulling ahead, pulling forward all the learnings I've taken over these last months to stay out of someone else's chaos, to settle this pit, this emptiness I feel in my tummy because of it. I'm really pulling on the learnings and the teachings that I'm gathering, and I'm reaching out now, but I'm also going to reach out later also to everyone. I just need, I need my gratitude list. I need all of those tools that I'm gathering and taking forward with me.
Okay, good. You want to say something?
I just wanted to say something. You know those workshops that you participate in, because I know that you were in the last one. Have you noticed a difference in the way that you not only receive material, like the information, but the way that you utilize it in your life?
I can. I know that there's some things I do or some things I get involved in that are not mine to be involved in and not mine to worry about or to be upset about. And so I'm learning that. I'm learning about the fear-based emotions that, my feelings are not facts and they will pass. And all those things that we're taught that really come into play when the going gets tough. I can tell a difference because otherwise you're back in the same old, basket of snakes, and I'm in the refrigerator or the cabinets pulling out whatever I can find.
And so we're talking about acceptance. We're talking about accepting of people and of situations. And we're definitely going to go through times where it's going to be super easy to accept what's happening around us. And then there are going to be times that we're going to convert back to being human beings. I had one of those times I didn't talk about, but I said about last week, where there was a situation that I had absolutely no control over, and it brought me back to a place where I didn't feel comfortable being. And just to be able to, and all everybody that I reached out to said, you need to have acceptance because this is happening, and I couldn't get to that place. I mean, I did obviously get to that place, but it doesn't. No matter how much recovery we have, we're still allowed to be human beings, you guys, and we're still allowed to react. Doesn't serve us, but we're still going to react because we are human beings. And in recovery, we will learn to reach out to the people that we trust, which is going to be the people in our community that we've grown to trust. I'll tell you, with the workshop and the people in the workshop, you see a whole lot of so much closeness because there's so many things shared and so much scary stuff and so much recovery shared, and everybody learning from everybody else. Like tremendous learning experiences are happening there, right? Guys were like, like the last week when Laura said something, everybody's like, oh my God, like they're all having these epiphanies and everything. And that community, those ties, I think really, really help us in our recovery, because really, when I was going through what I was going through, I mean, I talked to a lot of the people in the community, and if I didn't have that, I don't know what I would have done with me. So
I just wanted to mention something because I see we have a whole lot of new people joining us as well. So what we have going on is we have people who join us from all over the world in different time zones. We get together twice a week. We discuss recovery. We have workshops where we learn from each other as well. We have this online closed group on Facebook called What's Eating You. And that's where we ask for help when we need it, and we get some kind of motivation and insights from other people in recovery when we post stuff there as well. And also what you mentioned about reactions, we always have a reaction. No matter what it is, we always have a reaction. I think one of the things, my takeaway from workshops is, how we say we have healthy choices with food? Well, I learned to make healthy choices with my reactions as well, because it's the one thing that I can control. So when I start, I've been doing go-to behaviors I'm 53 years old. I've been doing it a really long time. But all of a sudden, when you talk about not involving yourself in other people's business that doesn't belong to you, that's one of the reactions I've started learning through the recovery process and through the workshops and doing the work, is to find out what motivates me to do the things that I do so I can make healthy choices and stop before I react, rather than just reacting. And normally that reaction for me when I was using was picking up something that hurt me, be it food, be it drugs, be it bad attitude, bad temperament, whatever it was. The behaviors that also, even if I wasn't picking up a substance, it was still those go-to ugly parts of myself that I regretted after those words came out of my mouth or after those actions happened after I'd done them, because I might have been going through a dry spell, but I wasn't in recovery.
And we're going to remember too, and that's true. And then sometimes even when we are in recovery, because I feel like I'm pretty stable right now in my recovery, sometimes it's easier just to for me, it's easier to put myself in my room and shut the door and nap than it is to deal with what's going to be going on in the day. And that's the time when I need to reach out
and that's
to
what
ask
Sarah
for some
said.
help.
That head comes with us no matter where we go. So
Yeah.
even if you've got 50 years in recovery, that head with us, those default thoughts still sometimes creep up and we addict.
Yeah, and then it's just how long we're going to keep them to ourselves and how long we're going to stay where we are without reaching out for help, right? So reach out. That's part of our community and part of the things that we learn as a community together. We learn that it's not so scary to ask for help, and it's not so scary to reach out, and that really every time that we reach out, there's always somebody else that's benefiting from the conversation, because we've all been there. Whatever our scared is our scared. Doesn't matter what color it comes in, right? Purple scared, yellow scared, doesn't matter. Our fear is our fear. And learning to walk through those fear, learning to feel it, and knowing again, feel like we say, feelings aren't facts, they're feelings, right? My glasses are brown, that's a fact. My glasses are always going to be brown. Right this second, I'm scared. That's a feeling. It doesn't mean that I'm going to be scared in 3 days or in 3 minutes or in 3 hours. Just means that I'm scared right now. Scared I can get help with. The fact that the glasses are brown, there's nothing to get help with, right? And so feelings aren't facts.
And also to know that I'm not alone. And you know, my best thinking sometimes took me to the worst places in my life. I did the worst things with my best thinking at that stage when I was in active addiction, that really beating myself up, making really unhealthy choices. I'm being cruel to myself. You know, all those things I thought were brilliant thinking, all of a sudden being in community, learning that I'm worth it. I'm worth living a healthy, happy life, that I am capable of doing it if I have the right tools and I'm in the right place and I get the right learning and the right guidance. And I put all those things in place and I reach out and I say, I need help. Why are those the most difficult words to say? Why is saying, I need help, please help me, just so difficult for so many of us? Because for me, I really didn't think I was worth it when I was in active addiction.
Yeah, and for a lot of us, the that I need help translates to I'm not strong enough, which means that I'm a weak person if I need to ask for help. And so we need to retrain our brains to understand that I need help just means I need help, and that everybody needs help, and that it's okay to ask for help, right? And it's okay for others to be of service to us, just like we so easily and readily are of service to others. Miss Laura, how are you today?
So I'm fine.
Okay.
I'm fine.
So are we fucked up, insecure, neurotic, and emotional, or are we feeling okay?
Oh yeah, and all those things.
Yeah, that's
And
what I figured.
So this week, one thing that's been seems to be a pattern that I'm noticing, and I'm seeing a lot of. It's like coming. I'm just noticing this theme over and over. Is about just kind of is not kind of. It is about having the courage to just be 100% yourself. And I shared today with Ange, and I know I've mentioned to Felice. I have someone coming to my house next week, and I think of you, Karen, because I have someone coming to my home, and she's insisting on coming to my house. I never invited her to come to my house, but she wants to come to my house. She wants to eat a meal, blah, blah, blah. And so normally, here's the thing. I have people over, but I'm not somebody that entertains a lot. And I grew up in a family in which I came up with lots of ideas about everything that you had to do to make your home and yourself acceptable and good enough, right? And so I have all these crazy ideas of what needs to happen. You would think the way that I talk about like my house and I talk about all my stuff, you would think, not that I live in squalor, but you would think that there was like a problem, like a serious problem. And there's not a problem. But in my head, I feel like I've got to jump through all of these hoops, do all these things, hustle through my worth to make it so that it's okay for someone to come to my house and have dinner with my family. It's someone that I don't really know, that I'm not close to. And it's been an interesting thing because I keep thinking about what if I was just like, excuse my expression, but I was just like, fuck it, right? You just come to my house. I'm not going to clean a damn thing. I'm not going to do anything, you know. I won't make any special meal. I mean, you want to come and have, you know, let's just do that. And I've been thinking a lot about that lately. Like, what if I didn't try so hard? What if I was just myself and take it or leave it and that's it? I know you want to say something. Louise.
Yeah, I do. So Laura, so we're talking about ego, right?
Yeah.
Right? What I think your opinion of me is. First of all, I wanted to say codependently, Karen has already booked her flight to come over to clean your kitchen. For sure. Right, Karen? You got her covered with that, right? So, right. No, but so and obviously you're thinking about this a lot because we've talked about it. You've talked with Angela about it, probably talked with some other people about it. So it's something that's really resonating. It's something that you have really bad feelings about, right? And when we talk about that, so I'm going to talk about worst case scenario, okay? So this woman who you're not that close with comes over to your house and you just show up and you're Laura and you're who you are and you guys eat whatever meal you're eating and she leaves. And what's the worst case scenario? Let's play this through to the end.
So the worst case scenario is, I don't know, she has, let's just say, right? Let's just say worst case scenario. She looks at all my stuff, right? My organization is not perfect, my whatever is not perfect. And she talks about me, she talks shit about me to everybody that I possibly know.
Okay, by the way, who does she know that you possibly know?
She knows people.
She's an undercover agent for the FBI, and she knows everyone.
No, she's
That's very
undercover
cool.
for the organizational squad.
Oh, that's even better. That's better. So here's the thing, baby. She comes to your house.
Yeah.
She leaves. She has an opinion, right? She's either gonna have no opinion, right? Or she can leave and she could say, Laura is the nicest, best person I've ever met in my whole life, and it's so lovely that I invited myself over and she let me come over and da da da. Or she can leave and say, Laura is a slob, bitch, stupid. Who cares? Who cares? Laura, if somebody comes over to your house and is hanging out with you and they leave and they didn't like you, that's about them, right? The only thing that you can do is show up and do your best to do your best, and that's all. Be nice, be kind, do your best, and it ends there. The way the universe receives it is not about you, it's about them. I say this every single meeting. We don't see the world the way that it is. We see the world the way that we are. I'm looking at the world through my eyes, right? If I like you or I don't like you, you could show up with, you could have 100 people over, and 50 people would have something negative to say because they're negative, nasty people. And 50 people would have something great to say because, they look at the gratitude side of things. It's not about you. Just show up, do your best, be kind, and let the proverbial chips, we have to do beet chips or something like that, fall where they fall. And that's it, because let me tell you something. You can worry about it or not worry about it, and in the end, whatever's going to happen is going to happen.
Okay, so actually that for some reason, I just kind of understood it. I finally understood it. So here's the thing, right? Thing is, this woman, she has the eyes and the opinion and the whatever frame of reference that she does. It doesn't matter how clean my house is or isn't, it doesn't really matter. She just is who she is, and she's gonna be who she's gonna be.
Right, no matter what you do, right? Right, so as long as you show up, meaning spiritually, you show up and you're kind, and you do your best, which is how we've decided in recovery to show up in life, right? As best as we can, just show up and do our best. If she likes it, awesome. And if she doesn't, awesome. That's not about you. It's not all about you. I'm going to tell you, when we first learn about addiction and they say that we're self-centered, and we all think, no, I'm not. You know what I did for her yesterday? And I tell you guys, I get drunk and buy my kids a pool table. Like, I was cool, man. When I was giving and kind. Self-centered meaning everything that happens in the world has to do with me, and everybody's opinion of me is who I am. And if she looks a certain way, it's because it's not about that. It's not about that. Her experience is going to be her experience, not your experience.
Okay.
Right? Is she, I'm sorry, if it's your boss and you want the raise, then maybe you got to do a little bit of stuff, over and beyond what you would do. If it means if she likes you, she's leaving you a couple of million in her will, find out what she likes to eat and make sure you're serving it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Otherwise, be who you are, right? What's the Dr. Seuss thing, you guys? Be who you are and say what you want. Right, because those who mind don't matter. And those who matter don't mind, and those who mind don't matter.
Okay.
Right? The people that care about you, they don't give a shit. If Karen cleaned how many times did you clean your kitchen, Karen? Like 800 times.
Yeah.
Do you think anybody would have noticed if she cleaned it 750 times instead of 800 times? I don't think so.
Yeah.
Right? Karen's laughing.
right.
It's different.
So Laura, I have to ask you a question. So how long is she coming for?
A year.
So is she moving in permanently?
Right? She's gonna, that's the problem. I want to move her out, move her.
So how long is she going to be there
And
for?
so, I can't control that. That's part of it, right? And
No,
I
it
can't
is.
think
Is she
of-
staying in the night?
I don't know. I think about Felice.
Is she
being
staying
like,
a week?
now,
Yeah.
Is she moving in for the week?
You know?
Right. So no, she's not moving in for the week. And at the end of the night, after whatever, it's okay to look at your guests and say, you guys, thank you so much for coming. Hope to see you soon, and walk them to the door.
So I just have to share something with
do
you.
that.
So I'm the type of person that cleans up for the cleaning lady. Okay, I'm just like that crazy kind of person. So if you have a hard time talking to her, make the meal with her. Get her cooking with you so you don't have to talk that much and you keep each other busy. And she can chop lettuce, and you can keep her busy, and that cuts a good 20 minutes out of the 5 hours spending with you, and it's only 5 hours. Go out, go for a walk, do something. You don't have to sit in the room with her.
And as far as the angst goes, it's perfectly acceptable when you're ready to have somebody leave to say, thank you so much for being here. Let me walk you to the door.
Okay. Thank you. You guys will hear more about it on Sunday. Because this coming Sunday, I'm sure it's Sunday meeting. I'll be upset. So.
And just so if she really drives you so crazy, don't make a good meal, because you know she'll be back if you're an excellent cook.
That's a good idea. All right, I'll make that meal. That's what I'll do.
Yeah, and you
Thank
know, Laura, she's coming to hang out with you because she wants to hang out with you.
Yeah.
And remember, if we're going to make up stories, let's make up great stories. Right? So
Okay.
maybe she's coming over because she does want to leave you in her will. She have a dog, maybe she's going to leave you the dog. You never know.
And you might also,
You have more to
yeah.
clean up.
you
It'll
might
be great.
just learn something from her.
And enjoy the experience.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. And Karen, thank you. I didn't thank you for sharing. You guys, thank you so much. They're so awesome. Nancy. Hi, girl.
Hi, girl.
How are ya?
I'm okay.
You have something to share tonight?
No, not really.
Okay. Well, we're glad that you're here. And I know that if you do have something to share, you'll let us know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're good about that. Thank you so much. All right. So then we're going to move right up on to Liz there. Hi, Liz.
Hello,
How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. What's on your mind today?
Nothing much. I'm doing pretty well.
Okay, so we have the non-sharing section over there. So should I call you out about it? She's like, she called me out last week, so I'm not talking to her anymore. Do you want to talk about anything that happened after last week? Or do you wish not to share about that?
No, there isn't really anything going on yet.
Okay. All right, so then well, I guess we'll talk. If and when you're ready to talk about it, you let me know. So if it's
Okay.
during this meeting, just interrupt. And thank you for reaching out on what's eating you. I know that you wrote a letter and that you let us read it. Thank you for doing that. And I know that a lot of some people responded to that. And so that was good for the group to get involved. And if there's anything that you'd like to talk about, you guys were talking about reaching out to other people and letting them know how we feel, right? And letting them know that we're here, even when we're angry. That the anger, that's all anger does is put a wall between you and I and doesn't allow me to reach out. And so if I could see you as a human being, even when I'm angry with you, if I could see you as a human being, it allows me to reach out to you. It allows me to say, how can I help you today?
So I just wanted to mention something, because we never told people how they could join us. So people actually join us through our waiting room, which is a virtual room. You go to weight.net, and you can hop into the waiting room that way. They also join us if you're in Southeast Florida. You actually step into the actual room, which is awesome, or you can live stream us on Facebook or on YouTube. You can watch past videos and past meetings. And we're on Google Plus, and just however you can reach us, reach us.
Yeah.
You're not
Thank
alone.
you. Thank you. I
Hello. I liked what Sarah said about the the head, because I was looking at being cleaner with my food this week, and
What is cleaner? You knew everybody was waiting for that. What is cleaner with my food?
Well-
Because if we could do that, I'm gonna be cleaner with my opiate use this week, and I'm only gonna do hydrocodone instead of oxycodone, which is
that-
okay to me.
Is that like being a little bit pregnant?
Yeah, it's kind of like that. Kind of. It's like almost we're thinking about. So what does cleaner mean?
well, I didn't eat the sugars or the starches, but I noticed I was eating when I wasn't hungry.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Okay,
So-
good thing to mention, you guys. Thanks for mentioning that. Actually, go ahead.
Yeah, and I actually liked the way I was feeling. I remembered like that time in recovery when I actually had that flow, or like, yeah, this is pretty good. I like being there. And then the fear or the head, I didn't do well. I weighed myself,
Mhm.
and I actually lost a pound,
Mhm.
and I wasn't obsessing with it, but I got like I was feeling so good, like I was just monitoring my body. But in the past, whenever I see myself losing weight, I find ways to sabotage myself because of the head games or I think like, how am I going to maintain it? And I think that's how I wound up gaining all my weight. Like, how am I going to maintain this instead of living one day at a time? I got so fearful of what am I doing? I don't even know how I'm doing it. So that was like a little bit of the fear. The feeling good, the writing down the food this week has been very comforting, actually,
Good.
because I think I eat more than I do, but so and then I actually can eat. I could eat clean and actually be happy. So I saw that in my writing it down.
Right, and you did your food log for me because I see you in my office, and you did your food log, and we're going to go over it together. And I use it as a tool. It makes some people crazy, and then I don't use it. And for some people, it actually is a good tool, and I do use it. And so when you talk about, you know, it's kind of like putting it out there when we talk about being in recovery and the fear that comes along with it. To say that, okay, I've decided to step into recovery, or I've decided to be clean. Let's say that first, because with the recovery part, we stay clean. And so I've decided to be abstinent, and now I'm abstinent, and in the beginning especially really, really, really scared, because now what the F am I going to do now? What am I going to do when I'm not feeling well? And what happens now? I'm going to put it out there, and everyone's going to know, right? And everybody is going to know, which means ego-wise, I have to do what I said I was going to do. So we're going to reframe our words, and we're gonna say out loud that my recovery is my choice.
My recovery is my choice.
Right. And other people's opinions of me is none of my business.
And other people's opinion of me is none of my business.
Right. It's about how you feel about you, Bonnie. And it's about how you feel about you changing inside. Because the food is, you know, and everybody questions me, what do you mean it's not about the food? Well, of course it's about the food, and it's about the Percocet, and it's about the sex, and it's about the cutting. It's about all those things, because those are our behaviors. But when we're learning to live in recovery, then we know that we don't have to act out on those behaviors. Remember, just because I want something, just because I want $1 million doesn't mean that I'm going to rob a bank. And if I do want $1 million and I keep my ass in my room and I don't go out there and get a job, the $1 million ain't going to come, right? So I need to have an idea of where it is that I want to be. I need to be abstinent, because without abstinence, there's no recovery. And without recovery, there'll never be sustained abstinence. Right? And so that's the cycle that we want to be on. We want to be in recovery so that as a plus, we have sustained abstinence, because then our thoughts and feelings are things that we're working toward, you know, getting well, as opposed to just picking up to change the way that we feel.
You know, the one thing I love about newcomers to the rooms is that it also takes me back to where I started my journey, because we all start in very similar places. What brings us here is different, but we start in very similar places. And you talking about how you made healthier choices of what you put into your mouth, and then how you were able to, but it made you feel good, and you started looking at your behaviors afterwards, reminded me that it was also a step-by-step process. You know, it's not something that we take on all at once and fix everything overnight and all of a sudden everything's perfect. But you also reminded me of something really important, is I was so focused on the pound up, the pound down, the scale said I gained a pound today, I had the worst day ever. If I lost 3 pounds, I was the happiest person. All my happiness, it wasn't about feeling good, which was, I felt good just that I was doing something healthy. I felt better. My thoughts were clearer. You know, things, they're definitely different things. I wasn't doing, you know, so many things start shifting when we start stepping into recovery, but it became more the focusing on the feeling. I had to put my scale away for a while, because that was part of my obsession and part of my addiction. And for me, it helped not rather focus on the feelings rather than stepping on this little black box. Because I guarantee you, if you go into a doctor on a regular basis, they're going to weigh you as soon as you walk into that room, and you'll know exactly how much you weigh. But I just found that was something that helped me.
Yeah. I think the fact that I didn't freak out when I weighed myself is almost like a releasing, because it wasn't about the weight. And I know it could be very dangerous, because, you know, it just is a place where, like I could be happy and sad. So, and I think what you said, Felice, too, like, I think one of the things I realized is, because I was doing so well, and then I just lost it and have not been able to get it back. And the coming to terms with that, like, oh well, not an oh well, but I was doing well, but I wasn't sharing it. Like I was sharing it, but people used to come to me for like, oh, how do you do it, or and of course when I started having a problem with my food, it was almost like everyone was gone. So I was always the helper, but no one was there to help me.
Which was the life that you chose,
Okay, yeah,
right? So
Right.
you chose to be a caregiver without taking care of yourself spiritually. Because not eating is not eating. We could all do that for a while, right? We could all not eat for a while. It's about change. Listen, so you were quite thin, right? And then you gained weight back. I had 7.5 years clean, and I relapsed. So is there shame with that? Like I wanted to die. I'm not kidding. I wanted to die. Like when I had to raise my hand in a meeting and say, and I did it for the first 30 days, in front of everybody that knew me, I have 1 day clean. I have 2 days clean. I have the one time I was at a meeting and it was in my first 30 days back and a girl yells across the room, that's my doctor. I was like, shit, like really? Like, yeah, so I relapsed. So I'm a human being. If I was working some type of recovery program at the time, instead of just taking care of everybody else, then my hope is that I wouldn't have relapsed. So that's what I'm going to do this time. But it sucks, and there's a lot of shame. And just as I would imagine, we know each other a little bit, but I don't think the people that know me judge me on my relapse, right? They're just grateful that I'm in recovery, right? So that I can be of service to others and so that I'm well. And so that's the way when you shift that mindset of when you can get over the shame and that part's not so important, it'll be easier for you to work on just getting better spiritually. Because shame sucks, and shame is one of the things that will keep us using, right? Because it feels so bad, right? And we don't know how to do feel so bad, right? Not when there's something right there, right this second, that could change the way that we feel. And you know what? We'll start again tomorrow, right? Every time I picked up on a lie, right? It's okay. It's just right now. I'll start again tomorrow. It doesn't matter. Nobody's going to know. All of those things that we tell ourselves when we just need that one more fix, no matter what that fix is. And I love that they call it a fix because we actually think that it fixes us, right? I'm going to get right in my head. I'm going to get fixed for just this second, right? And it doesn't work that way because the repercussions or the fallout of what that after that fix looks like, that part that we have to play through to the end that we forget, unless we're working some kind of program and staying in community and reaching out to our community. If you're gonna overeat, text somebody. Text somebody and say, you know what, right now I'm not hungry, and somebody. I hear that a lot from people where I know that I'm eating and I'm not hungry. Text or reach out or put something up on what's eating you before, and let other people talk with you about it, because that's like saying, I'm going to take 90 milligrams of oxycodone right now and I sure ain't in no pain. Right? Yeah.
So that just raised one of the questions that came up. Mary asked, she said, we can't reach out from here. So I just want to say you can reach out from anywhere. So as long as you are on planet Earth, you can reach out, because we're on Facebook. It's called What's Eating You. I suggest you go to What's Eating You now, click to join, but you're going to be asked 3 questions, and people who don't answer those questions don't get accepted as members.
Can you put that up, please, for me?
So,
Thank you so much.
it's open for membership, costs you nothing. There's a whole community there, and join us now.
Yeah, and then you guys, and you can always go into the waiting room on What's Eating You and get in on the meeting, and talk about what it is that is eating you, and be here with us and be a part of the community.
And if you're struggling to find out where that is, under events on our Why Wait for Recovery homepage, you'll have the click where you can click to get into any of the meetings. You can sign up now for Sunday, so at least you can join us at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah,
Okay.
Eastern Standard Time. That was good. Does anybody want to comment on anything that's been said tonight? Anybody want to comment about eating when you just know you're not hungry? Maybe because we've all done it. Or starving yourself when you know that you are hungry. Same.
So I'll tell you, beyond the eating when I'm not hungry, I was that addict that swapped out different addictions. So I probably gained and lost over 600 pounds in my lifetime. So I could be really thin if I was smoking cigarettes or if I was smoking pot. I would either be using food or sex or whatever it was, anything else other than to be in the moment. So for me, it was if something was feeling good, I didn't care if it felt good, I wanted more. And not only did I want more, I just wanted more of it. So I would eat and eat until I was in so much pain that I would then purge so I could eat some more. So it was really not about the hunger, because I never understood what hunger was. And after bariatric surgery, I had to learn what hunger was, because not only that, I had to learn what full was, because I'd been using it as a drug. So whether it was marijuana or it was coke or whatever the story was, for me being able to use was really the paramount. The thing was learning that I don't need to do that. I don't need to numb out to be able to enjoy a moment or be in a moment. I could just be in it for whatever it is and experience something new, just being clean and being there. So it's really a learning process. So that point is, when you fall, firstly, my suggestion that I had to learn is I had to weigh and measure my food. I had to stop eating when I felt full. I had to eat slower and throw the food away, because I have pulled food out of the garbage and I've eaten off other people's plates. So I would just use it. I then start doing other things. So instead of food being the only option, look at other things that you enjoy. If it's going for a walk, if it's going to color in a coloring in book, whatever it is, shift a muscle, shift a thought. Just get out of that groove and then start retraining yourself what full feels like.
And reach out. And reach out.
And say, I don't know what I'm doing. Help.
Yeah.
Help me.
Anybody? Got the quiets today. Okay, yes, ma'am.
So I don't have a comment as far as that goes. I was thinking. So bear with me. So I was thinking that now I'm making the connection when, as far as, let's say, in this particular moment in my life, there are things that are out of my control, and people are suffering, or there are things that I want that I can't exactly, that's going to take time to reach. So now I realize that my brain or myself converts that back into the longing. So it always goes back to want more, or that perfectionism with myself, which is unobtainable. Whether it's weight or whether it's just being, I don't know, the image thing. That's just how my brain sees it. But it's only because, I don't know how to explain it, but it's only because I can't fill the void with other things. So my brain always wants to fill the void with this, the disorderly thinking, but it's never going to be reached. And I don't know how to explain it.
So what
I
you
know what
just
I'm trying
said,
to say,
excuse
but I
me,
don't-
what you just said is like the definition of every single person's addiction. So what you just said is 1,000% how everybody feels. So when you're talking about reaching the unobtainable, like the unobtainable weight or the unobtainable buzz, or having something that will put us in a place where we're not right now. And remember, when we talk about fear, right? Fear, we're always going to describe any of our negative feelings as not getting what we want or losing what we have, right? And so when you think about everything, you think about, I'm looking for a job and I'm not getting a job. So if I'm going to have the fear behind that, that means that I won't be able to do this, and I won't have this, and I won't be able to do this, and I won't be able to do this, and maybe I'm going to lose this, right? And so that stuff, for the second, you don't have control over. And so you're saying that you're trying to reach something, and I don't know how to reach that, but I know how to be a perfect addict. And I know how to binge and purge. And I know how to feel full and empty, I think, right? Because I really don't. Because we'll never, no matter, the thing about getting high, no matter what our drug of choice is that we're always chasing that first buzz, that first time that something happened in our brain where we felt differently because we ate 60 Oreos, or we felt differently because we put a needle in our arm, or we felt differently because we threw up so much and we felt so skinny and so empty in a different way. And then we always look for that fantasy of what we think that was, and that distorted thinking and that crazy chaos and what's behind. And that's every addict, every single addict. So what you just said, right? Dawn's shaking her head. Yeah. Can you add anything to that, Dawn?
Just the basically what you said, the falsity that we can ever get that again because the first time was the first time and there will never be another first time.
Yeah, and we feel like
So
we have that
chase it.
control.
We
Yeah,
chase
the first time you make yourself throw up, it's like you just controlled that whole entire situation, right? I ate 8,000 calories and I threw up. No more 8,000 calories, and that was control, right? That type of control. The more that we feel out of control on the outside, it's so crazy. The more we do convert back to that feeling of I can use my addiction. And the thing is, then we step back into active addiction where we're binging or purging or starving or overeating or whatever we're doing. And it seems like a good idea. And then we're in that and we're so out of control. Yes, Ange. Give me 1 second.
I was just thinking, listening to what Sarah said, to what Sarah said and then what you said. It's I was thinking, like, I have almost a year and a half clean, and you get to a point, well, at least for me, I get to a point in my recovery where I kind of understand what I have to do, but
What I choose to do?
what I choose to do. But you still sometimes revert back to that thinking, and I just was having that realization as she was saying that. And it's just so, well, I guess it's not that weird because, like you say, we're addicts, but it's so weird.
I would love to just
No,
quickly
go
say
ahead.
something as well. I think there's also that point where when we start on that point, whatever it looks like, it starts, for me it was that feeling of not being enough. That point of feeling I'm not enough the way that I am. This makes me feel different. Whatever that different is, it just made me feel the way that you look. And I forget that I am a spiritual being living in a physical world, and I just am not always equipped to be able to deal with it. Because I always felt different. No matter where I was, I felt that I was different to everyone else. And when I was using, I felt that I was normal and the same as other people, be it with the food, be it whatever it was, felt that the world looked normal to me.
Isn't it so funny that we feel different than everybody else? We are different. Everybody is different than everybody else, right? Nobody has the same mind, the same exact feelings, the same exact. Can I feel what you're feeling? No. Can I sympathize or empathize with you? Perhaps. That's about me. But not all of us are different, right? We're all having our own experience. What else did you want to add, Sarah?
I was just gonna say that being in recovery, though, the difference is that it's not so much, not at all urges to want to use, like I don't want to go pick up and use. It's more just me being, never good enough for myself, never feeling good enough for, and that's just because of me. So I'm grateful, so blessed and grateful to be in recovery because I don't have the urges to want to go pick up and or change. It's just thoughts. I know they're just thoughts. I can get through them, but I'm happy that I don't. It's not connecting back to want to go purge or binge or starve or whatever.
And in the future, as you work toward and through this recovery, you will have less feelings of less than. You will have more times where you feel like you are worth it. And that I can promise you. Is it going to revert back to how we've always felt since, we were this big? Yeah, at times it's going to, but you're also going to have those breakthrough moments where you're going to wake up in the morning and say, damn, like I'm awesome. I'm awesome. And that's cool.
I just wanted to also say this, if this is speaking to you and you are identifying with what is being shared by Sarah, because I know I am, on the 25th we're having an experience. It's the 25th of this month.
All right.
So we're actually
going to do it.
We're actually going to be doing it. So there is the link if you want to join us and actually do some work on yourself and really see if recovery is for you and if you are an addict or are we having these challenges and to be able to see if it's worth doing some more.
Yeah, and worth working on. And
So there's a workshop
One
actually
day.
we're doing. It's a couple of hours and we are doing intensive. There's going to be work. So you have to be, what are you willing to do for your recovery and to get better essentially. So there is, you can sign up on WEIGHT, WEIGHT.net. You can do that right now. It is live.
Put that up there. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you. Angela, and Angela's going to put that up on What's Eating You, right? On Why Wait for Recovery right now. Ms. Dwayne?
Yes, hello.
Hello.
My head today is I'm feeling not great about myself because I've been spending a lot of time with my parents. We're both 81 and they're both getting forgetful, and my mother's becoming much more infirm. And so I do some taking care of her, and I just spend a lot of time with her, and my dad's around a lot, and I want to be more patient with them. And I find myself, I pray about it every morning before I start the day, and I think I'm gonna be better today with them, and boom, as soon as I'm with them, I'm, impatient, and I just could be so much kinder, and it's bothering me a lot.
So I'm sorry that you're going through that because it's tough. And as our parents get older, a lot of us do go through that. How is your relationship with your parents before?
It's good. It's fine. I mean, my mother and I still have fun, and we laugh, and my dad, we still laugh together. I'm not like a horrible.
Yeah, no, so that's
Monster.
not what I was asking.
How was it before? Well,
Yeah, are you close with your parents or not so close with your parents?
No, yeah.
Because a lot of times there are different things going on. It could be I'm really close with my parents and I'm scared because my parents are getting older and I'm not going to have them forever and ever and ever. And that's a reality.
That make me more compassionate with them?
No, not necessarily, because fear rears its head the way that it does. And or I'm not so close with my parents and I don't really feel like taking care of them. So it could be either one of those things, but there's some kind of fear behind that because you would have patience with a 2.5-year-old, right?
Yeah.
Right. And so through that aging process, if you could think of it more like that, but importantly to begin with, so your behavior is your behavior. Finding out what's driving the behavior is the recovery part, right?
Yeah.
Right. So finding out what it is, what's my part in it, right? What's my part in feeling the way that I'm feeling, right? So we could talk a little bit more about that, but I'm going to challenge you.
Part of it might be, hold on, I'm having a thought. Part of it might be that they were not that nurturing to me.
Okay, so I knew that. But I'm not going to put words in your mouth. Yeah, I knew that because I know you a little bit, and you are in workshop, so I do know a little bit about you. Yeah, and so, anger and frustration about, okay, now you're older, and now you need help, right? And I don't want to be the one that's going to help you, right? Because I'm resentful and I'm angry about how it was before. Those resentments and that anger, we're not going to say that that's not normal, because it is. It's just going to be learning to work through it if you're going to stay in the position that you are. So we're in control of our actions and the way that we think, our perspective. So at this point, your two choices are going to be either to change your perspective, which means this is what it is, and I'm going to help as best as I can, just like I would help my next door neighbor's, cousin, right? Without the feelings. Or I'm going to call my brothers and sisters and get some help so I don't have to take care of them. There's either the action or the feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so...
I want to be doing it, and I'm kind of happy to be doing it. I'm disappointed that I'm not doing it better.
Okay, so the disappointment part that you're not doing it better, that you can learn to work through. But again, it's going to be working through what came before that, right? I've got some anger inside of me because I'm still holding on to some resentments. Do we want to help people that weren't there for us? Well, maybe not. Does it make me a horrible person that somebody's sick and I don't want to take care of them? It doesn't make me a horrible person. It makes me an honest person to say, you know what, you're sick and I don't feel like taking care. Well, for me, I wouldn't have a job. But, in general, to say that I don't feel like caring for this person right now, nor do I feel like it's my job. And so that's why God made people that do that. And so if you and your family can afford it, find some of those people, hire them. It's great for the economy and it's good for your head and your time, right?
Yes.
Or work through the feelings that you have about it. One of the two. But yeah, so of course there's always something behind that. Thank you for sharing that.
So we got 1 minute left. So
We
I
got
just
1
wanted
minute
we got
left.
1 minute left. So I just wanted to say 25th of August we're having, it's probably a 2.5, 3 hour workshop that we'll be doing. Sign up. It's going to be fabulous.
Fabulous,
That always are.
fabulous.
Our
They
workshops
always
are
are.
amazing. Ask anyone who's been in them.
Yeah, reach
But-
out, you guys. I am like, or put on What's Eating You. You know, like thoughts about the workshop for the people that have taken it already.
Maybe share why you did it. What made you take action so you actually decided to do it as well. The other thing is 9 a.m. Sunday Eastern Standard Time, we meet up again. So jump into the waiting room if you want to participate in the conversation.
We're not AA or OA or
Any
NA, or we're not affiliated with any of the A groups. Shout out to all of them and for all of the people that you help. That's amazing. And shout out of gratitude from me myself. I am going to read from the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous called The Promises. We are painstaking about this phase of our development. We will be amazed before we are halfway through. Oh, remember, Ange, I wanted to talk about that. So next meeting, we'll talk about one of these promises. Thank you. We're going to know a new freedom and a new happiness. This is what we're going to talk about next time. We will not regret the past nor wish to shut the door on it. We will comprehend the word serenity, and we will know peace. No matter how far down the scale we have gone, we will see how our experience can benefit others. That feeling of uselessness and self-pity will disappear. We will lose interest in selfish things and gain interest in our fellows. Self-seeking will slip away. Our whole attitude and outlook upon life will change. Fear of people and of economic insecurity will leave us. We will intuitively know how to handle situations that used to baffle us, Laura. We will suddenly realize that the universe does for us what we couldn't do for ourselves. Are these extravagant promises? We don't think so. They're being fulfilled among us, sometimes quickly and sometimes slowly. They do always materialize if we work for them. Thank you, everybody out there, for being a part of my recovery. Thank you for all that you give. Thank you for everybody that shares. My name is Dr. Felice Cellini, and I'm blessed.
You're braced.
I'm blessed. I am blessed. I'm blessed and grateful to be in recovery.
And thank you for everyone who allowed us to be of service, and for people who are of service who helped this meeting be possible.
Thank
Ahmed,
you, Ange.
Anjali,
Thank you, Ahmed.
and Gary as well. Thank you all. And also, I just wanted to say, if no one's told you that they love you today, I love you, and thank you for making my day so special.
Peace out, you
Peace
guys.
out, everybody.
Enjoy your recovery.